Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to EA Tetragrammaton, where we are playing It's turn 128. Jump into things. Okay, so we've got a fair amount to cover in this turn, so let's hop into it. Our normal ritual castings, Forces of Darkness, Corpseman Construction, Kusarikus. We have thrown up Stellar Focus. Good to know. We went first. And then we can see there is a Dire Portent. So all of the rest of this is just, us doing our various summons. So let's check what this Dire Portent is. Moloch Baal, Moloch Baal, god of Hinnom, the hungry earth, seducer of life, the afterthought, has cast a global enchantment. And I don't know why this happens sometimes. I don't know why some global enchantments are set to give a description or something like that, and others are not. But this happens to be one of the ones that is not. We'll have to deduce what that is later. Alright, so after we have done all of our magic stuff, all of our summons, we get into the magic phase attacks. And we get into one of my biggest problems as a player. And I'm not gonna try to turn it into like the excuse scenario. I'm a busy person. I have little time to play. So normally I get hyper focused when I'm doing a turn. I get hyper focused on one particular thing, and a lot of the other things fall to the wayside. So this ends up being a repeated mistake of mine, and I'm well aware of it. It's like I have blinders on when it comes to this. I am horrible at defending my flanks for big battles. So, in Ivermark, Hinnom teleports in and takes over the province. Same in Edirol. Same in Dwargar. Same in Moss Woods. Same in Turtle Glades. You're seeing a pattern here. And that is not to say that we have lost a battle or anything like that, but this is a good habit for people to get into on both sides, right? Like, if you have the ability, especially in a late game scenario like this, you should absolutely have the ability through some means of magic phase travel. It's important to try to cut off your opponent's line of retreat, and it's also important to try to defend your own line of retreat, right? Either is a very important thing. And it's a very bad habit of mine that I don't think about it. I get really, especially for big battles, I get really hyper obsessed or focused on them, and I give very little focus to everything else. Because I'm normally super concerned about that. And this is a big deal. So, don't do this. Anyways, moving on. We have done a bunch of blood hunting. Pretty good turn for us with that. Taking control of Witchhaven. There's a battle in Troban where Hinnom is again taking out just a little bit of PD. We've taken Delufe. Battle again in Sanafe where Hinnom, with a larger force but not very big, is taking out PD. And then we have a battle in Rafaboli, and I just ate. Sorry, so I'm a little like bleh. Let's jump into it. All right, on the left side, we have a whole shit ton of people. On the right side, we have still a shit ton of people, but significantly fewer people. But we can see right off at the very beginning, Natural Storm is up from Milk Telly Boy to the Melkart. So, with Natural Storm up, that means no shenanigans with flying. That means Thunderstrike is back on the menu. And okay, that's fine. That is what it is. We're just gonna play this out and kind of like watch from a upscaled view, and then see how things go. Okay, we don't need to be on super slow. Be on normal. So, everyone's different buffs come out. We get our We get, basically in rapid succession, we get the vast majority of our buffs up. A demon cleansing goes up, a howl goes up on their side of things, blood rain goes up, which we knew it would, right? We get a relief cast by us, we get a heat from hell from their side of things. That's not what I'm looking at. Oh, that's not what. Heat from hell affects everyone, so that's cool. And we'll just take a quick check, right? So we've got our natural protect, or we've got our army of gold up, right? We've got our Gaia's blessing up. We've got our mass regeneration is up. We've got our air shield is up. Our what is that? Arrow fend is up. We've got our looks like we have our wind guide up. Anything else? We don't have fog warriors up yet, but that is okay. Heat from hell comes out, and there's our fog warriors. We start to hit pretty deep with a fair number of lightning strikes just dancing among his people, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, because we're doing the whole like mass, or we haven't been able to do flight, right? We can't really get into the back line. Now, we go turn on our squares. It's hard to see because we're still pretty close color, but we've got some air elementals back here that are, you know, causing a little bit of chaos. We get our Mists of Deception up now. You can see, I don't know if it's like a first come, first serve on Howl, or if we just didn't get our Howl cast off. I'm not sure. I think this guy is our Howl caster. So I'm not sure if he just didn't get to go or not, but we get the whole stuck in the gate thing. That's, you know, we knew that this was the probability if we weren't going to be able to fly, and now it just becomes the slog. We have a lot of magery going on though, so that is somewhat good, but we can see we are losing people, and now is the time to start questioning, why are we losing people, right? Of course, it's going to be from routing. But here I fucking click on the one fucking guy in existence. I bet I can't find him again. Yeah, that was the one guy that was starving from the place that we were using less supplies than there were available, and we were starving. I can't find him again. My bad. Ooh, this thrall is starving. Anyways, so we're looking at this, and I saw this. When I saw this, I was like, oh shit, they're breaking. Okay, let's go check their morale. Why are they breaking? Okay, we're sitting here, we're looking at, okay, base morale of 12, +2 experience bonus, -1 hostile dominion, +1 squad bonus, +1 divine spell. So why are these guys sitting at 5 morale? Blood Rain's only a -4. Like, what the hell, right? What are these guys over here? Oh, those guys are 30, they don't count. Those guys are 50, they don't count. Those guys are 15. Jesus. Check some of these mages. These guys are 10, right? With a +2, +1, +1, -4 from the Blood Rain is down to 10. Why the fuck are my guys so low? We'll talk about that here in a second. So we continue to toss a lot. I mean, we lose a lot of people off of some of these routes, but we still have a huge force still fighting. So, right, there's a lot of people back here. But we'll start to speed through. Right, evocations continue to come out. There's a lot of banishment from his side of things. This is because our liches actually kind of do their job. This whole thing of like using the Inky's Chosen as batteries is actually working relatively well. Unfortunately, they're just spamming terror, which is not exactly the greatest thing. Like, if they could be spamming something that's a little more like damage oriented, that would be better. Actually get mad at them here in a second. We'll talk about that when we get there. But you can see it's just the mass amount of spells being slung from either side, because no one can break through the center. They can't break through, we can't break through. And eventually I rout. Of course. My god is still here, right? My liches are still here, and this is the part where I kind of get a little annoyed, because as much is happening right now, as everyone else is running, right? This battle is still actually not lost for me entirely. If these liches would stop casting terror and swap over to something like Horde of Skeletons. Because they get this whole moment where they could do that, and they just don't. Like, they could be the enemy army starts to flood out, and they go for quite a while where they could be summoning skeletons to meet these guys, and they just don't. They just don't. My god's over here casting Wild Growth, Gifts from Heaven. Ooh, Gifts from Heavens is pretty good. That's okay. Sleep Cloud. But then eventually we get overrun. Our god is fatigued. He casts Blade Wind, and eventually he goes down. Actually, I think eventually he gets Soul Slayed. Ah, there's his Paralyze. Yeah. I'm assuming eventually. Oh my god. Jeez, Lewis. I know he gets Soul Slayed eventually. I just don't know when he gets Soul Slayed. Also, there's this one guy. Nope. Yeah? No. Ah, he got Soul Slayed. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Done is done. So, let's check the battle report there. We lose everything, right? Because there's no secret there. We got routed without having a line of retreat. So we lose everything, that's a massive amount to lose. That's 79 Gudus. That's a third of the Gudus that I have made throughout this game. A bunch of Enkidu Shamans. That's a lot of Enkidu Shamans for us. A couple of Insis, and Umu Apkalu, a couple of Ugalus. Big deal. Like, lot of units to lose. We actually did kill about half of his army. And in truth, we probably would have won that battle if it weren't for the fact that... and we'll come back and take a look at some of these other things. If it weren't for the fact that the global, we saw it go up right here, the global that actually goes up is Dark Skies again. That's why we routed. That's why we lost. We honestly, we were winning the battle just because we had overwhelming numbers. We were just slowly but surely cutting through. We can see it in the numbers present, right? We only lost 133 units in the fighting versus his 249. We'd killed almost double. We lost because Dark Skies came up and it decreased our morale by a fucking shit ton. Like, if we start off and take a look at these guys out in the front, they have a base morale of 13 with an experience bonus and a bodyguard bonus. Okay, these guys stick around for a long time at morale 9. take a look at like some of our just Gurus, right? Morale 3. Morale 3. Base morale of 9, +1 because of his experience, -1 because of hostile dominion. Morale of 3. Morale of 4. Morale of 3. Morale of -1 because this guy has battle fright. Oh, take a look at our Yetis, right? Morale of 13. Base 15, +3 experience bonus, +2 squad bonus. Because remember, keep in mind, almost all of our infantry, to try to counteract the morale bombs, we have +2, +3, +4 bonuses on a lot of these +4 squad bonus, right? And he's a bad example. He's got battle fright. He is also a bad example because he has a billion things. Morale of 17, right? 16 +4 +8. We are losing. What is that? We're losing 24 down to 23. We're losing 6 morale just from Dark Skies. So when Blood Rain hits, we're at a -10 on morale across the board. I don't feel bad about losing this fight. I legitimately do not feel bad about losing this fight. It sucks. It's unfortunate. But I don't feel bad about losing it. Dark Skies was exactly what Hinam... Probably one of the only things that Hinam could have done to have won this fight. I don't feel bad about losing the fight. I do feel bad about not protecting my flanks and not giving myself an avenue of retreat. Because I could have lost this fight and still got out with over half of my army. And then been like, okay, well, we lost the fight, but we killed a good amount of his units. And we continued to be a threat in the region. Now we have lost a lot of units in the region. We've killed a lot of his too. That's good, but it's not going to be enough depending on what he decides to do. So let's watch this. We're gonna watch again. Look at a couple of different things, see how a couple of things go. I'm looking for some specific stuff, and I haven't done this yet, so I'm just kind of like looking to see what happens. All right, we've got some fanaticism, we've got all the soul vortexes going up. Have we gotten, okay, rush of strength is going up, that's good. Life after death goes up. Army of Rats goes up. This guy just got hit with something. Oh, what he got hit with? Okay, Army of Rats goes up, and I don't honestly... I think the problem that I have with Army of Rats is I have no idea if it worked. I guess we could look at like some of these ogres, and we can see... Some of these ogres are smaller, so I guess they have been hit with Army of Rats, right? That's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know if we can, like, really tell if... Ooh, like this guy, this Ami back here, right? He's slightly smaller, I guess. Looks like he's been hit with Army of Rats. So I don't know that Army of Rats really did much of anything. It's clear that it hit some of these individuals, like these, you know, low magic resistance ogres. But it's also just kind of like hard to tell if it did much of anything. I guess it hit these Dawn Guard over here. They're like little Dawn Guard. That's cool. But, you know, an interesting situation. I feel like this guy just doesn't cast Howl. He hasn't cast anything. He casts Strength of Gaia. Bunch of Temper Flesh, Will of the Fates goes out, Fog Warriors goes out, and this guy starts casting Panic. I'm 99% sure the Great Bear is our Howlcaster, and he just never casts Howl. I guess, I don't know if you can do, if Howl can be done by both sides. I'm not sure, honestly. So I think one of the things I could have done, and I think this might have actually really made a difference, because the couple of air elementals that we get into the back line, they seem like they actually cause some problems. If we doubled or tripled the amount of air elementals that we threw out, I think that could have been a pretty interesting thing. That being said, every air elemental that we take out of the mix is more thunder striking that we're not doing, and as we can see, like, the thunder striking does a lot of damage. Our liches, this just seems odd to me. I guess they get to the point to where, like, there's too many skeletons on the map, so they're like, okay, we don't really have, like, the room to cast, so let's cast Terror instead. Terror seems like a weird thing to cast, but maybe they're just out of range to be able to do anything else. Like, you know, in a lot of the scriptings that I have, a lot of these guys are routing, but a lot of these guys, fucking two morale, I just don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Like, I don't know that there's a real counter to that. I could start producing, I guess I could start producing morale gear and putting morale gear on all of my mages, like cheap ass, like, fire pearls or whatever, you know, those are like +4 morale, right? Like, just to try to, like, counteract is just so, the fear bombs, I have not lost. That's not true. I lost a big fight because I underestimated him and didn't send enough mages to do all of the things that I should have done. So I've only lost one, and I say big fight. That was like a fight of like 150 or 200 soldiers. We'll count it as a big fight. I've lost one big fight. All of the rest of my losses of the big battles against Hinam have been morale bombs. They've all been morale bombs. It's all been Blood Rain, Dark Skies, my morale breaks, I run. Not he bested me. In fact, in I think most of those battles, obviously, yes, he is besting me. But I think in the phrasing that I'm trying to use is not in a contest of strength or magic or whatever, right? It's a contest of bravery, right? My people just fucking run. Which, I get it, right? Mathematically, it makes sense. He is using a large amount of units that have crazy high morale, right? The Se'ers have 30 morale, the living statues, they have 50. All of his, like, undead guys, which we killed most of those. I say most of them. We killed a lot of them. From banishment, they have 50 morale as well, right? So it makes sense why my army, which is primarily just dudes, is breaking comparatively. It really does. It's just, I don't know. Alternatively, we are starting to summon people, but still a lot of our summons, you think like the water summons, Yetis, they still have morale. Naiads, they still have morale, right? We're starting to get into corpse constructions now, and probably gonna get into just regular long dead now. But might be too little too late. We'll see. Anyways, I thought this was a really, really cool battle. I was actually really stoked to see that, in theory, if we hadn't just routed to the Dark Skies, I think we probably would have won. It would have been a long and arduous battle, but I think we would have out-magicked him. And we would have eventually broken through and killed, because we keep fighting for a long-ass time. Like, a long-ass time. But, yeah. Alright, I think that's good enough. we'll go ahead. It's already 24 minutes into this video. So we lose everything. He loses most of his chaff. He actually keeps most of his core, as far as like his mages alive. He does lose some Amis, loses 2 Achas, loses a Horite Shaman, but for the most part, he keeps his mages alive and well, which is very important, right? His Vampire Lord killed 233 units. Interesting. How much did our Liches killed? 140, and our Gurus killed 168. Yeah, that sounds about right. Absolutely. Okay, anyways. You know, it's also of note that I'm kind of screwing myself over in some of these fights with, like, well, I say I'm screwing myself over because, like, these Kusarikus, right? They're the only demons on the battlefield, and I'm putting up demon cleansing. They're taking double damage from that. I don't think it really matters because we didn't loot. We lost 1 Kusariku. When they get in, they're murder machines. They're great. They're good to go. They killed 14 things and lost 1. But then they eventually routed. You know, because even them... Oh, wait, they're not demons. Why do I always think that they're demons? Never mind. Take it all back. The last, like, minute of what I was saying, ignore it. So. Man. Why is none of the stuff that is easy and good for me to summon? Why does it all have just morale? Kidnids, morale. Fucking super easy for me to summon. Kusarikus, morale. Super easy for me to summon. Yetis, morale. Super easy for me to summon. Ugh. I need to, I guess, just move into death. Like, just wholly move into death. Alright. Let's cover some other things. Unexpected issue, -8 defense in the Whispering Wastes. Unfortunate. Lost some gold in Resting Heights. Also unfortunate. Lost a scout. Carts pillaged. Did some patrolling. Okay, silver lining. And we talked about this multiple times already. Silver lining is that we have way more income than we previously did now. So, yay! All right, we are recruiting all over the place now. The downside is this territory, the Tirnanog front, right, is now severely open. What can we do about that? Well, one, our god did die. Our god was soul slayed. So, that means that we can call our god back, which is super duper easy for us. We have 1 billion people waiting around. So we're going to call him back in 1 turn. He will be able to potentially take all or most of the forces that are in and teleport to a location should he need to, right? So we're not completely defenseless. We're not completely out in the open, but we are in trouble. So we are going to have to scramble to get reinforcements up into the Tirnanog Kailasa area. Fortunately, we already kind of did that in Kailasa. So Kailasa has a small standing army. If he moves towards Kailasa, we will have to back up towards Belagor. We will have to, retreat. We are already retreating a decently sized army from Gaeta down to Pangaea. And we are going to bring over the forces of Agartha. We're going to head to Monarch Woods and head in this general direction. It's going to take them several turns to kind of get into the vicinity. And depending on what Hinnom does, if Hinnom strikes quickly, we're going to have, a running battle for the Tirnanog area for the next couple turns. But I'm relatively confident that we can contest that with the right moves. So we're going to be bringing people up. I haven't made all of the moves yet because I'm not 100% on everyone that I want to take. But we're probably going to be bringing in some Gurus and Ugalus and stuff like that. We're going to keep the Trackless Waste army where it's at, but we're probably going to drain a lot of the army. If that exposes us to Lanka, it exposes us to Lanka, is what it is. With income now, we are going to be able to start recruiting back in again consistently, at least for several turns. So my hope is that we're going to replenish that relatively quickly. Okay? So that's going to happen. We're recruiting in a number of these locations, Gudus and Urgard across the board, Gudus, Urgard, etc. And we are going to be doing a little tactic. We're going to see if this works. I don't think it's going to. One, because I think I don't think Hinnom is in the mode of, let's charge them, let's go. When, honestly, probably should. He should probably take the army in White Forest and charge Pangaea. He should probably take the army in Realm of Silence and either charge Pangaea with that army or charge Kailasa. Same with the army in Raphabolia. Should either charge Kailasa or charge Tirnanog. And he could probably press me on all of those fronts, and I would be able to respond in some ways to a couple of these, but I would probably lose ground. It would... The only thing I think is that it's going to, as he extends his flank, or as he presses forward, he's going to leave himself more exposed to Lanka, which I think in the long run, I still think in the long run again, that Hinnom is slowly but surely comes to his demise. But it might be longer, way longer than it ever needs to be, because god damn it, I suck at this game. Okay, what we're gonna try to do a little sneaky trick. I don't think it's gonna work or amount to much of anything, but we're gonna see how it goes. If he decides to march on Halbathria and Tirnanog with the Raphabolian army, we are going to hit it again with 3 flames from the sky this turn. This is going to do some minor damage to the army. Not much, but some minor damage to the army. I'm anticipating maybe another 80 units dead or so, something like that. And if he decides to march, then that would leave those units with some damage. We are in turn going to make a small attack. We are going to send Unafishtim, Lich 19, Ishib 73, and Ishib 41 into Ivermark with Tart 15. So the whole plan here is to try, and I wish there was a lab here so I could swap out this Dusk Dagger with a Flesh Eater, just so that he couldn't rout. Or that either of my other tarts were prepared to do this. Unfortunately, they're both Shattered Soul right now, and there is no lab here. So I don't think this is actually going to work, but we're sending in Lich 19 to do a couple of hordes of skeletons and then run. We are going to fluff our tart with... I don't know that regeneration works. It doesn't work on inanimate objects. I don't know that... It might work, it might not. We're going to try to enlarge him because he's only size 5, right? That's going to give him more HP and more strength, which would be good. And then we are going to try to regenerate him with Unafishtim. And then we have Moss Body and Quickness on Ishib 73 and 41, both. So they're just going to try to get Moss Body and Quickness on him between the two of them, and then they're going to retreat. So the goal there being, he will have Moss Body, Quickness, Enlarge, Regeneration, Iron Will, Iron Skin, Temper Flesh, Summon Earth Power, Flying Shield, Attack Rear, and get in the back line. Right, when Tart 15 has all of these things, Tart 15 is very strong. Very, very strong. Most likely not strong enough. He has enough people there with Soul Slay that he's probably just gonna outright Soul Slay the Tart eventually. But in theory, right, the hope is if he can catch them after they have taken some damage and he can get lucky in his positioning, right? Perhaps he gets lucky in his positioning in the back line. He can cause some damage to them, and causing enough damage could get them to retreat rather than him retreat. Very unlikely. Don't think this is going to happen. I think what's more likely to happen is that Hinnom just doesn't advance. I'm not sure Hinam is in the mood to, from speaking with him, and we'll see, because I could be completely wrong. I'm not sure Hinam is in the mood to try to conquer either at Lanka or me, right? I think they're enjoying, being on the defensive, but I could be wrong. Who knows? I'm just going to leave it at that. Who knows? I have absolutely no idea if this is going to work. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's even going to be challenged, but we'll see. Otherwise, we are summoning more Forces of Darkness. We are moving to reinforce this area. And yeah, we're doing more stuff. We're doing some Curse of Blood over in Silverfang, some reanimation. We've got Infiend 1 heading over there. Next turn, probably the plan is going to be to do more Curses of Blood, double Curse of Blood over here in Silverfangs. Since we have 30% less Blood Slaves used in these, it only costs us about 50 or so Blood Slaves. So we can do a lot of those, especially now that we have four provinces that we're blood hunting in very successfully. Trying to think of if there's anything else. We're continuing to do naiads. Oh, this is something that we are kicking up. I'm trying to get some enchanted mirrors going so that over the course of the next couple turns, as we reinforce areas, we can get some enchanted mirrors into place and maybe intimidate Hinam a little bit to not be overly aggressive. Right? Like, if he sees this army coming from Monarch Woods, right, and that army is 3 times the size it actually is, it might cause him to be like, oh shit, and hunker up, right? So we're gonna see if that gives us any real opportunity. Other than that, just doing the things that we have been doing. Endless Bags of Wine, Horns of Valor. I'm probably actually going to start looking into... Oh, it's not Burning Pearls. What is it? Is it just... No. There's some item that's like a fire item or something, isn't it? A fire... Is it a nature item? There's something that is good, like quite good for morale. Like 4 or 5 morale. Am I crazy? Am I losing my mind? No, surely there is. What have we not checked? That's 2 morale. That's not exactly what I would call good, and it's super expensive compared to what it accomplishes. I could have sworn there is something that I'm thinking of that is like a decent low cost-ish morale item. But I cannot for the life of me remember what it is. I will try to remember. We are also getting... Ooh. Well, Slave Caller, yeah. But you can't cast once you have the Slave Caller. Yeah, you become feeble-minded. That's definitely not what I'm thinking of. Maybe it's just the Ring of the Warrior. Maybe I'm, like, transplanting this in my mind, thinking, oh, Ring of the Warrior is really cheap and it gives good morale. +2 morale is not that great. I guess it's better than nothing, though, like, in the situation that we're in, right? I just don't fucking know what to do. I don't know what to do. We're also summoning another Apkallu, since we just lost that Apkallu. We want to replace that army's Apkallu. We also probably need another one over here in Kailasa, so that might be something that we do over the course of the next few turns. And that's pretty much it, honestly. This is a big setback. I won't say it's not. It is. It's a big setback, but it'll be fine. We'll figure it out. or we won't, and Hinam will come crawling back, and if they do, they will do so deservedly. Good on them. I eagerly await their victory 70 turns from now. This game's never gonna end. Oh, God. I'm absolutely, actually, like, honestly concerned that we're gonna get to the point to where I am starting and finishing other games. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm concerned that... Wait, no, it has happened. Shit. Yeah, I started and finished, Helheim. Well, that, you know, that was just like, look, I just, you know, that game ended in the 70s, so it's not like it was super fast. Shit. This game's just gonna go on forever. I'm gonna just continuously start and finish new games, and this game's just gonna keep going. Just keep going. For the rest of forever. I don't know what to do about that. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay, that's it for the turn. We had a rough loss there, entirely due to two things. Due to a smart play by Hinam, which, by the way, that Dark Skies, our plan worked. We snuck in Stellar Focus, right? Which caused, when it wasn't Arcane Nexus, but it was a global, and when he cast it, it overrode somebody else's global. It took out the water one, the pirates. So could have been nicer if it took out Gift of Health. That would have been good. Or even Well of Misery, but our plan did work. That was a expertly executed Dark Skies. Absolutely. Only reason we lost that battle, I'm firmly convinced. But also, that was just so good play lost us that battle, and bad play on my part, because we easily could have defended any of these approaches. In fact, I don't know if we could have retreated. I don't know if you could retreat across a river if you don't have like aquatic or something like that. But we were moving into Drogar with Pyroflogos last turn, and we decided just not to because we wanted to stay close to this laboratory, which, I mean, works out now, but yeah. 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 Also, these scouts carrying gems are probably gonna die in the flames from the sky, but we'll see. All right, that's it for the turn. I'm just babbling at this point. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.